The Song He Made Me Write, a complete short story by Sir Lucius. Maya always wrote her best songs after midnight. There was something about the silence of a sleeping city that made the words come easier. No traffic, no neighbors arguing through thin walls, just her guitar, and the soft scratch of a pen against paper. By day, Maya was forgettable. She worked the counter at Melody Music, a dusty instrument shop on a street that had seen better days. She was 25, with tired eyes and a habit of looking at the floor when people spoke to her. Her voice, the one she used for speaking, was soft, hesitant, the voice of a woman who had been told too many times that what she had to say didn't matter. But her singing voice was different. Her singing voice was a church at midnight. Her singing voice was a confession and a prayer all at once. Her singing voice was a confession and a prayer all at once. Not that many people had heard it. For 3 years, Maya had been dating Jake. Jake was 26, handsome in an obvious way, with a jawline he knew how to use and a smile that had never been told no. He worked as an aspiring music manager, which meant he spent his days at coffee shops, telling young artists they weren't good enough, and his nights at industry parties trying to shake hands with people who pretended not to remember him. When Maya first met Jake, she thought he was her biggest believer. He had heard her play at an open mic night, a small, stumbling performance of a song she'd written about her grandmother, and he had approached her afterward with stars in his eyes. "You've got something," he had said, raw, untrained, but real. For 3 years, that memory kept her warm through the cold nights, through the dismissive comments, through the way he would scroll through his phone while she played him a new song, through the way he would sigh and say, "It's fine, Maya. Keep practicing." The truth, which she would only understand much later, was that Jake had never believed in her. He had believed in what she could do for him. He saw her talent as a lottery ticket, something he could cash in once she finally made it. And when she didn't make it fast enough, when the years passed and the coffee shop crowd stayed small and the streaming numbers stayed stagnant, he grew impatient. "You're too quiet," he told her one night after she'd played a new song for him. "Your voice is soft. Your songs are sad. No one wants sad. They want loud. They want sexy. They want someone who looks like a star." Maya looked down at her hands. "I thought you liked my songs." "I liked the idea of them," he said. "But come on, Maya. Look at yourself. Then look at the girls on the charts. You think you fit in that world?" She didn't answer. "Loads," he said. She couldn't. The worst part, the part she would replay in her mind for years, was that she almost believed him. The night it ended was a Tuesday. Maya had been at a gig, a small one, a coffee shop in the suburbs where 17 people had listened to her play for 40 minutes. She had made $40 in tips and a free latte. She had driven home in her old sedan with the check engine light permanently glowing on the dashboard, feeling the familiar weight of failure settling into her bones. She let herself into the apartment quietly. Jake's car was outside, which was unusual. He was usually out late on Tuesdays. The lights were off in the living room, but she heard a sound from the bedroom, a laugh, a woman's laugh, not from a television. Maya walked down the hallway on legs that didn't feel like her own. The bedroom door was open 3 inches. She pushed it gently. Jake was in their bed, the one she had saved 3 months to buy, the one with the scratch on the headboard from when they'd moved it into the apartment together. And beside him, tangled in Maya's sheets, was a woman Maya had never seen before. Tall, blonde, impossibly put together even at what must have been nearly midnight. Her name, Maya would later learn, was Bianca. She was an aspiring model. She had met Jake at an industry party 3 weeks earlier. Jake saw Maya in the doorway. He didn't flinch. He didn't scramble for an explanation. He didn't look guilty. He looked annoyed. "Maya," he said, like she was an interruption. "Come on, close the door." She didn't close the door. She stood there, frozen, her guitar case still strapped to her back, her $40 still in her pocket, her heart still not understanding what her eyes were seeing. Bianca pulled the sheet up to her chin and looked at Maya with something that might have been pity or amusement. It was hard to tell. "She was at the door the whole time?" Bianca whispered to Jake. Jake sat up. He ran a hand through his hair and sighed. "Maya, look Let's just be adults about this, okay? You and we've been running on fumes for a long time. You know that. Maya's mouth opened. No sound came out. He got out of bed. He pulled on a pair of sweatpants and walked toward her, completely unashamed, completely naked above the waist. He stopped in the doorway, close enough that she could smell the whiskey on his breath. Come on, Maya. Look at yourself. Then look at her. He tilted his head toward Bianca. You're sweet. You are. But you're not going anywhere. Your music, it's not gonna happen. You know it. I know it. I need someone who fits my future. Someone who looks like they belong in the rooms I'm trying to get into. Maya felt something crack inside her chest. Not her heart. Something deeper. Something older. Something that had been holding her together for 3 years. You said you believed in me, she whispered. Jake laughed. It was a short, cold sound. I believed you would try harder. I believed you would become someone else. But you're still just you. Still quiet. Still sad. Still playing the same coffee shops for the same $40. He reached out and touched her face. She flinched. He didn't seem to notice. This isn't working. You know it isn't. He walked past her into the living room. He pulled a suitcase from the closet, the one they used for weekend trips, and began throwing clothes into it. Maya stood in the hallway. She could hear Bianca getting dressed in the bedroom. She could hear the zipper of a skirt, the click of heels. You can keep the apartment for the rest of the month, Jake said without looking at her. I paid the rent. After that, figure it out. He zipped the suitcase. He grabbed his jacket from the hook by the door. He paused, his hand on the doorknob, and looked back at her one last time. Hey, he said. For what it's worth, you're not ugly. You're just not special. Then he walked out. Bianca followed a moment later, brushing past Maya without a word, smelling like expensive perfume and someone else's future. The door closed. Maya stood alone in the hallway of the apartment she could no longer afford, wearing the same dress she had worn to play for 17 people, with $40 in her pocket and a guitar on her back. She didn't cry. Not yet. She walked into the bedroom. The sheets were still tangled. The pillow on Jake's side still had the indentation of his head. She stood there for a long time, breathing slowly, trying to remember how to be a person. Then she sat down on the floor. She took off her guitar case. She set the guitar across her lap, and she didn't play. Not that night. She just sat there until the sun came up. The first week was survival. Maya went to work. She came home. She ate instant noodles. She checked her phone obsessively, waiting for a text from Jake that never came. She watched his Instagram stories, him at a rooftop bar, him at a concert, him with Bianca, her long legs and perfect hair and easy smile.
She saw the comments from his friends. Upgrade. Finally. You deserve this, bro. She closed the app. Opened it again. Closed it again. On the 7th day, she stopped checking. On the 8th day, she stopped eating. On the 9th day, she stopped getting out of bed. Her boss at Melody Music called and asked if she was okay. She said yes. She said she had the flu. She lied. The apartment grew dark. Dishes piled up in the sink. Mail stacked by the door. Maya lay in the tangled sheets, the same sheets, because she hadn't washed them, because that would mean admitting what had happened, and stared at the ceiling. She thought about her grandmother, the one she had written that first song about. Her grandmother had been a singer too, not a famous one, a church singer, a woman who had stood in a small choir loft every Sunday and let her voice rise up toward a ceiling that didn't care. Her grandmother had died when Maya was 19. On her deathbed, she had taken Maya's hand and said, "Don't be quiet, baby. The world will try to make you quiet. Don't let it." Maya had let it. She had let it for 6 years. She turned her head on the pillow. Her guitar sat in the corner of the bedroom, untouched for 9 days. A thin layer of dust had already settled on its body. She looked at it, looked away, looked back. On the 10th night, at 3:00 a.m., she got out of bed. She didn't know why. Her feet carried her across the cold floor. Her hands reached out and picked up the guitar. Her fingers found the fretboard like they had been waiting there all along. She sang about walking into an apartment and seeing a stranger in your sheets. She sang about the sound of a zipper. She sang about $40 and a check engine light, and the way someone you love can look at you like you're nothing. She sang about a man who told her she wasn't special. When she finished, she was crying. Not the quiet tears she had been holding in for 10 days. Real crying. Ugly crying. The kind that comes from somewhere so deep you didn't know it existed. She wiped her face with the back of her hand. She looked down at the guitar. And then she started another song. This one was angrier. She sang about a man who thought he deserved a star, but couldn't recognize one when he saw it. She sang about a man who stole 3 years of her life and called it love. She sang about a man who would wake up one day and realize he had thrown away the only good thing that had ever happened to him. She sang until her voice cracked. She sang until her fingers hurt. She sang until the sun came up again, this time not as a witness to her grief, but as a permission slip to keep going. Over the next 3 months, Maya wrote 37 songs. She wrote them in the morning before work. She wrote them on her lunch break in the back room of Melody Music. She wrote them at night, alone in the apartment she could barely afford, the apartment that still smelled faintly of Jake's cologne in the bathroom cabinet. She wrote about betrayal. She wrote about loneliness. She wrote about the slow, painful process of remembering that she had existed before him and would exist after him. She wrote one song about her grandmother. It was the happiest song on the album. She recorded the songs herself. She bought a cheap microphone on Amazon and set it up in her closet, surrounded by hanging coats to dampen the echo. She taught herself how to mix. She taught herself how to master. She watched YouTube tutorials at 2 a.m. and learned words like compression and reverb and equalization. In April, she uploaded the songs to a small streaming platform. She didn't expect anything. She didn't tell anyone. She didn't post about it on social media. She just put them there, like messages in a bottle, and went back to her life. A week later, she woke up to 10,000 streams. She blinked at her phone. She refreshed the page. 10,000 had become 12,000. By noon, it was 30,000. She called in sick to work. She sat on her couch all day, refreshing the page, watching the numbers climb. 30,000 became 50,000. 50,000 became 100,000. A popular influencer, a young woman with 8 million followers who had built her brand on being underestimated, found Maya's song, The Other Girl. She made a video essay about it. She played the chorus. She cried on camera. The video got 20 million views in 3 days. Maya's streams went from 100,000 to 1 million overnight. Her phone started ringing. Emails flooded her inbox. Labels wanted to sign her. Managers wanted to represent her. A producer flew to her city and showed up at Melody Music, where Maya was still working the counter, still wearing her name tag, still stacking guitar picks by the register. The producer was a woman named Sarah. She was 45, with gray streaks in her hair and eyes that had seen everything. She watched Maya finish a transaction with a customer, a 12-year-old boy buying his first set of strings, and then she said simply, "You're going to be a star. Don't sign with anyone until you talk to me." Maya signed with Sarah 2 weeks later. The deal was unusual. Scott let Maya keep full creative control. No producers she didn't choose. No songs she didn't write. No image consultants telling her to dye her hair or change her clothes or smile more. "I don't want a product," Scott told her. "I want you." They re-recorded the album in a real studio. Not because the closet recordings were bad. They were raw and honest and perfect in their imperfection. But because Maya deserved to hear herself the way the world would hear her. The album was called Unfinished. It came out in September. The reviews were devastating. in the best way. Rolling Stone called it a masterclass in turning pain into power. Pitchfork gave it an 8.7. The New York Times wrote a profile of Maya with the headline, "The Quiet Girl Who Learned to Scream." But the real impact wasn't in the reviews. It was in the comments. Thousands of them. Tens of thousands. Women writing about their own Jakes. Men writing apologies to women they had underestimated. Teenagers writing about hearing their own pain reflected in someone else's voice. Maya read every comment she could. She cried more in those 3 months than she had in the 3 years with Jake. But these were different tears. These were healing tears. Unfinished debuted at number 3 on the Billboard charts. By December, it was number 1. The Grammys came in February. Maya wore a silver gown that had been designed for her by a young black designer no one had heard of yet. She walked the red carpet alone. No date, no entourage, just her. She won Best New Artist. She won Song of the Year for Empty Apartment. And then she won Best Pop Vocal Album for Unfinished. When she walked up to the stage for the 3rd time, the audience gave her a standing ovation that lasted 2 full minutes. She stood at the podium, clutching the gramophone statue, looking out at a sea of famous faces, all of them clapping for her, all of them crying, all of them on their feet. She waited for the applause to die down. Then, she said into the microphone, "3 years ago, I was sleeping on the floor of an apartment I couldn't afford, writing songs in a closet because I was too ashamed to let anyone hear me. Someone told me I wasn't special. Someone told me I didn't fit the image of a star. Someone told me I should be quieter." The audience was silent. "I want to thank that person," Maya said, "because he was right about one thing. I wasn't his future." She paused. She smiled. It was not a kind smile. "I was mine." The crowd erupted. Meanwhile, Jake was watching the Grammys from his studio apartment. The same studio apartment he had moved into after Bianca left him. Bianca had lasted 8 months. She had left him for a richer producer, a man who bought her a car and a house and a career as a reality TV star. Jake had been left with nothing but a bitter mouth and a folder full of old business cards that no one returned his calls about. He worked now at a music distribution warehouse. He spent his days packing boxes of vinyl records and CDs, shipping them to stores and fans around the country. The irony was not lost on him. He had wanted to be a manager. He had wanted to discover the next big thing. Instead, he was a warehouse worker handling the physical products of other people's success. He had been packing a box that morning, a box of platinum records, a box of Unfinished. He had looked at Maya's face on the album cover, her face, older now, sharper, her eyes holding a confidence that hadn't existed when he knew her, and he had felt something he couldn't name. He had taken the box home. It was against the rules. He didn't care. That night he sat on his second-hand couch, eating ramen from a styrofoam cup, and watched Maya win her 3rd Grammy. He watched the crowd adore her. He watched the man sitting next to her, a famous director with kind eyes and a gentle laugh, kiss her on the cheek after she won. Jake put down his cup. He couldn't finish it. He picked up his phone. He opened Instagram. He searched for her name. Maya's profile had a blue check mark. She had 15 million followers. Her most recent post was a photo of her Grammys, 3 of them, sitting on a piano. The caption read, "To the girl in the closet with the cheap microphone, keep going, they're going to love you." Jake scrolled down. He saw photos of Maya on tour. Maya in Paris. Maya at the beach. Maya laughing with her grandmother. No, wait. Her grandmother had died years ago. That was a photo from before. He kept scrolling. He found a photo of Maya with a man. The director, the one from the Grammys. The caption read, 3 years, still laughing, still writing, still yours. At Director Emerson. Jake stared at the photo for a long time. Then he typed out a message. Hey Maya, long time. Congrats on the Grammys. You look great. I've been listening to the album. It's really good. I'm sorry for how things ended. I was young and stupid. Maybe we could grab coffee sometime? I'd love to see you. He stared at the message. His thumb hovered over the send button. He thought about the last thing he had said to her. The last thing. You're just not special. He deleted the message. He threw his phone across the room. The stadium tour was announced in March. 60 cities, 4 continents, 6 months. Every show sold out within hours. Maya had never imagined herself in a stadium. She had imagined coffee shops, small clubs, maybe, if she was very lucky, a theater with actual seats. But stadiums? 60,000 people? The thought had been laughable. Now she stood backstage at the first show of the tour, a stadium in her hometown, the same city where Jake still lived, where Bianca had become a C-list reality star, where Maya had worked the counter at Melody Music for minimum wage. Sarah handed her a bottle of water. Nervous? No, Maya said, and she meant it. She walked onto the stage. 60,000 people screamed. The set list was carefully constructed. She opened with the first song she had ever written, the one about her grandmother, to remind herself why she had started. Then she played the hits. Empty Apartment, The Other Girl, Learning to Breathe. 0.5-second pause. The crowd sang every word. 60,000 voices, all of them knowing her pain, all of them transforming it into something beautiful. Halfway through the show, she paused. The lights dimmed. The band stopped playing. Maya stood alone at the front of the stage, her acoustic guitar in her hands, a single spotlight on her face. She looked out at the crowd. 60,000 faces, all of them looking back at her. And then she saw him. Jake was sitting in the 5th row. He was wearing a cheap suit that didn't fit quite right. His hair was thinner. His face was softer. He looked small. He looked like a man who had made one terrible decision and then spent 3 years making it worse. He was crying. Maya looked at him for a long moment. He didn't know she could see him. The lights were too bright, the stage too far away. But she saw him. She could have ignored him. She could have looked away. She could have played the next song and let him disappear back into the crowd. Instead, she smiled. It was not a kind smile. I want to dedicate this next song to someone in the audience tonight, she said into the microphone. The crowd went silent. He taught me something important, she continued. He taught me that a bad promise is worth less than silence. He taught me that being alone is better than being loved small. He taught me that the only person who gets to decide my worth is me. She adjusted her guitar. She looked directly at Jake. He was frozen, his mouth half open, his eyes wide. This song is called The Lesson, and it's for the man who thought I wasn't special. She started to play. The song was not on the album. She had written it in the hotel room the night before, unable to sleep, knowing somehow that she would need it. It was short, barely 2 minutes, and it was devastating. She sang about a Tuesday night. She sang about a door left open. She sang about a man who thought he was the prize when he was really just the first draft. The bridge she had written at 3 a.m., the bridge that felt like a door closing and a window opening all at once. You told me I wasn't pretty enough for your future. Now I'm the future of every girl you'll never have. You told me I was quiet, too soft, too small. Now 60,000 people scream my name, and you're just a stranger in the crowd who taught me what I'm not, so I could learn what I am. The song ended. The stadium was silent for 1 heartbeat, 2. And then 60,000 people erupted. Maya didn't look at Jake again. She turned her back to the crowd, walked to the edge of the stage, and disappeared into the darkness. The lights came up. The band started the next song, but Jake didn't hear it. He was already walking up the aisle, pushing past people, his face wet with tears, his chest heaving. He made it to the concourse, to the hallway, to the exit. He stood outside the stadium, in the cold night air, and he listened to the muffled sound of the crowd still screaming. He had been in the 5th row. He had been close enough to see her face, close enough to know that she had seen him, close enough to know that she didn't care. He waited by her tour bus anyway. 3 hours. From midnight until 3 a.m. The same hour she used to write her songs. The same hour she had written the first one, the one that had started all of this. He stood in the freezing rain, shivering in his cheap suit, watching the bus. Security guards walked past him. Roadies loaded equipment. No one acknowledged him. At 3 a.m. the bus door opened. A man stepped out. Not the director, a different man. Tall, broad, wearing a black jacket with security printed on the back. "Jake?" the man said. Jake nodded, his teeth chattering. The security guard walked up to him. He was close enough that Jake could smell his cologne. Something expensive. Something Maya could afford now. "She said to give you this." The guard held out a small object. Jake took it with trembling hands. It was a notebook. Old, dog-eared. The cover was stained with coffee and something that might have been tears. Jake opened it. It was his notebook. The one he used to throw across the room when Maya was writing in it. The one he had left behind in the apartment, along with his old running shoes and the half-empty bottle of cologne in the bathroom cabinet. Inside, on the first page, someone had written in pen. Maya's handwriting. He would have recognized it anywhere. "You were right about one thing. I wasn't your future." He turned the page. More writing. "I was mine." Jake looked up. The security guard was already walking back to the bus. The engine rumbled to life. The lights flickered on. Through the window of the bus, dim and distant, Jake saw her. Maya was sitting in a leather seat, a blanket over her legs, a cup of tea in her hands. She was looking at her phone. She was smiling at something on the screen. She didn't look up. The bus pulled away, slowly at first, then faster. It turned a corner and disappeared into the night, its taillights 2 red dots that grew smaller and smaller until they were gone. Jake stood alone in the rain, holding the notebook, his suit soaked through, his tears indistinguishable from the water on his face. He thought about calling out. He thought about running after the bus. He thought about all the things he should have said, should have done, should have been. Because he knew, finally, what Maya had learned 3 years ago in that empty apartment. Some doors once closed can never be opened again. And some futures once thrown away belong to someone else. 6 months later, Maya released her second album. It was called Open Window. It debuted at #1 in 23 countries. She never wrote another song about Jake. She didn't need to. She had already said everything there was to say. The end.